Welcome back to Inclusion Revolution. I'm Tova, your host, and again we're here with Danny Morton. And Danny, we've been talking a little bit about your role as general manager, of course, in the hospitality industry, but also you have a very important role as the chairman of TIANS, as mentioned earlier. And I wanted to ask you also to maybe comment on some of the broader issues that you're hearing in your industry that both are in support of how can we move forward, or questions you may get, or things you've been dealing with, or perhaps things you want to bring to TIANS and maybe allow to get out to the hospitality industry through you, like both ways.
Well, our role in TIANS, we're an advocacy organization, and one of our most important roles is to try to create as good a framework and as positive a framework as possible for people to move forward in business and to grow the industry and to grow business. It's very challenging times, as you know. The economy is definitely tenuous at best. So again, you know, as we started out, it's really important to look at every opportunity, to be smart about these opportunities. One of our great partners, of course, is the Department of Tourism. And I'll give a plug for novascotia.com, the website. Right now, that's managed by the Department of Tourism, and there's a whole section on accessible travel within that website, and you can see it just on the left of the border, accessibility. And there's a lot of great information for travelers coming into the province on what to expect. You know, and it's being proactive about welcoming people with challenges and disabilities and special needs of all sorts of kind to be able to access some good information. In accommodation world specifically, and also linked through to that site, is a program called Access Canada. And Access Canada is an actual grading system that's supported through the Hotel Association and private sector accommodation places that decide to use it. And there's it's 1 to 4, I don't know if it's stars, but it's a grade 1 to 4 on the level of accessibility that is available at the property. So people planning and traveling can know very specifically, because there's very specific guidelines, and this is that these properties have to follow. So there's some really good information out there, and it's proactive information, which is good. We're not waiting for people to have to ask the questions. Our province is helping us put that information forward, and that's the smart thing to do in this economy, is put the information out there, make people know that you're working towards accommodating.
Have you ever thought about, and I ask more from the TIANS role, but because of the things you're saying, have you ever thought about some kind of certification or some kind of, you know, process whereby we can certify and then promote the industry in Nova Scotia through that inclusive statement? Because like you said, rather than waiting for people to ask the questions, we're telling them. And of course, I've always believed all like hotels like yourself, if you've done some training or you've done the proactive actions that you've taken, wouldn't it be great to have some kind of inclusion certification, much like the disability awareness training certification that IDEA provides? Yeah,
absolutely. And for the accommodation sector specifically, that's what the Access Canada program is. It is a certification. It's an opt-in program,
right?
But there is an evaluation that happens through inspectors,
right,
to make sure that you are living up to the commitments that you are making. The other thing that's happening through the Human Resource Council is professional certifications for different positions within the industry, whether it be food server, front desk agent, even room keepers. There's portions in their professional certification training that is dealing specifically with communicating with guests with special needs. It's not extensive enough yet. There should be a more specialized training, and I'd be all forward for looking at other opportunities to drill down a little bit more into some of the special needs training that's out there, for sure.
Because as you know, Danny, I believe that Nova Scotia is a leader, and we have to be a leader in disability education and inclusion, because frankly we have the largest per capita population in the country of people with disabilities. We're almost, as I mentioned, 1 in 4 identify. So I think that it's a good thing to come up with these wonderful ideas and these messages, not just on a national level, but also locally, because I think we are leaders. And I believe, and this is sort of my message to the hospitality industry in a sense, but I believe by letting people know up front that you are inclusive, they might not all get to that website, although I really appreciate those resources, but to say up front in your promotion that you are an inclusive, you know,
and by not
property.
By not saying it's a lost opportunity, it's not acknowledging the importance of it, and it's an opportunity to distinguish yourself from other places and other destinations. It's interesting, when I was doing a little bit of reading and what people with special needs were interested in when they were traveling, it was things like beautiful vistas, festivals, historic sites, all the same things.
Exactly, just like everyone else. I tell people this all the time.
And all of the things that they're interested in are the perfect match for Nova Scotia. So for Nova Scotia to go out and say we're also accessible and we're also inclusive and we have everything you're interested in.
It sounds like a great match for the person with disability, and of course this province, again, being a leader. And
as you keep saying, I have to interrupt, you keep saying we're a leader. You are a leader, and I just want to take this opportunity to say congratulations for the work that you do in this area, and that you are bringing it to light for different industries, and the tourism industry specifically, and I thank you.
Well, that's great, and I hope your mic was close enough that they picked that up. But, you know, specifically, of course, I think you're referring to my commitment to the disability awareness training, and that is a huge commitment, because in addition to the programming and the activities that I'm involved in for persons with disabilities, I'm especially excited about the fact that I have the opportunity to outreach to such receptive environments such as the hospitality industry here in Nova Scotia and do that kind of training. So I'm sorry about that. I'm confused there. Sorry. So I get confused just like everybody else, and it's okay. And so for me, I think it's really exciting that you're here to, first of all, send the message from your industry that I really do believe there's commitment. It's certainly well beyond just, you know, Nova Scotia, and certainly well beyond just your property. But I wanted to talk a little bit not just about the customer, but also the coworker and employment opportunities for persons with disabilities in the industry, in the hotel and hospitality industry. I see great opportunities, and I wondered what your thoughts were.
Absolutely. There's no reason why it wouldn't be an opportune industry. There's so many different types of jobs within the industry that there's always a way to find a fit. And there's programs out there that can help with retraining for people. There's programs that are out there that can help with equipment if needed, if there's special needs in the way of equipment. Absolutely. And it's an industry where there is a shortage of workers. And to not be outreaching to all opportunities, it's, again, a lost opportunity for employers.
Can I ask you, even in today's economy, we've talked a little bit about the tenuous nature of today's economy, do you still feel there's lots of room as employees for persons with disabilities, or do you think that the industry is going to be able to get, I don't want to say pickier, but, you know, more people who maybe got a history in the industry who are looking, or are you still seeing lots of room for entry-level, especially opportunities?
Absolutely. There's always opportunities in the hospitality industry. It seems to be, or at least so far seems to be, and in Nova Scotia itself, we're hearing all sorts of doom and gloom stories out there about the economy, but Nova Scotia itself, I guess we've never been a boom location.
Right.
We're not necessarily a bus location either. I can tell you right now at White Point, it is March break. I don't know if we can date that during the show, but it's March break, and we're pretty well full.
And that's fantastic to hear.
Yeah. I'm happy and relieved, of course, because I'm still hearing doom and gloom all over the world. But people in Nova Scotia are traveling, and people in Nova Scotia like to visit restaurants, and they like to go to hotels, and they like to go to festivals, and they like to do all sorts of things. Travel's important. Travel's important. It's part of our own wellness that and it's something that we're not going to let go easily, I don't think.
And I know that by ensuring the capacity for persons with disabilities to achieve that wellness that we all need during vacations is something that I give you great credit for, and of course Tyann's for taking a lead in making our community a more inclusive one, certainly in the hospitality area, for all Nova Scotians and those that visit us. And for that I'm really grateful, and I want to thank you, Danny, for joining us today and giving us the opportunity to actually hear from someone within the industry the reality, which is that we want to include everybody, and Isn't that a win-win-win? I always say Stephen Covey missed it a little. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you all of our listeners. We're really excited with our shows that are upcoming, so keep your eye on Eastlink every Monday night at 9, and again every Sunday night for the repeat at 8 o'clock for the Inclusion Revolution. And we'll be right back with Paul, who's going to join us with some new medical breakthroughs and some wonderful news, and of course the poll of the week. And we'll be right back after this.